Hey guys, so I usually don't do like full-on videos like this about individual units that are announced on Twitter, but this is a very special scenario here. We have a new WHIS coming out. We're going to watch the preview in a second here. There should be one more character being announced tonight at least. Whether or not it's going to be an LF or just a normal All-Star banner. I think it'll probably just be an All-Star banner, but with the movie getting postponed and everything, we're not really sure what the schedule's looking like here, so we could get surprised here. Maybe we're going to get an LF, but I probably think it's going to be an All-Star banner, but we'll see. So let's just go ahead and read this. So WHIS is coming. Finally, a Sparking WHIS. This has been a long time in the making here. We've only had an EX WHIS up until this point. We've actually gotten a Sparking Vados before WHIS, which is pretty crazy. So here we go. At the start of battle, he gets card draw speed up and nullifies enemies' special cover changes for a set number of timer counts. So that's pretty good. Already off to a good start. Card draw speed always nice. And then I think in this meta, we're just continuing to get more and more characters that have special cover changes, so the ability to nullify those definitely will go a long way. Now here's the interesting thing about this character and what I want to talk about here. Apply the new Obscure effect to the enemy on special arts hits. So he has to land his special arts card, his green card, for this to actually happen. Turns all of their cards face down and shuffles them. So, number one, I actually do kind of like this because they're experimenting with different ways to make these units useful. It's not just the typical, oh, he has card draw speed, oh, you know, he stacks his damage, he nullifies endurance. Like, we've seen all these things so many times that any way that they can really spice up the game like this, I definitely like that. The one thing about this is there's not really a way to play around this. Because initially, after reading this, I had thought that this said turns their cards face down for a set number of time, but that's not how it works. Because if it was just that, then you would have to always keep in your mind, you know, where your cards are in your hand and memorize the positions of them. So you could technically play around it. You just have to be very, very keen to what's going on. But because it shuffles the locations of your cards in your hand, it is actually just complete RNG. The one thing you can do is just to know, okay, what cards are in my hand before this happens, right? So for example, if you have a full hand of blasts and your opponent uses the Obscure effect on you, then you know all of your face down cards are blast cards. If you have 2 blasts and 2 strikes, you know that no matter what card you pick, you're not going to be doing a special move or a green card. And like, there's ways that you can sort of remember the cards that have turned face down to your advantage. So that's the biggest thing about this, is you remember which cards are turned face down, and every time you use a card, you have to then strike that off the list. Okay, so out of the 4 cards that are face down and shuffled, what have I used so far, so that I can deduce what the other cards can possibly be, right? So I think that's the best way to sort of play around this mechanic, but because it shuffles the cards in your hand, you can't really play around it 100% of the time. But this really opens the door for a lot of new things in this game, because this character specifically applies the Obscure effect on green card land, like when his green card lands on you. What if we start getting characters that just do this whenever they hit you, and do this whenever they use their main ability, or something like that, right? Because keep in mind, this is only affecting the cards that are in your hand. What if there's a character that comes out that affects, you know, every card in your hand and cards that you draw for the next like 20 counts, right? I mean, they can they can really make this a super, super oppressive ability, and I imagine that this is something I don't really think they probably test a lot of the characters they release in this game in terms of balance. But for a new mechanic like this is something that really does need to be tested before they release it. They can't just say, oh, this is a cool idea, and then just release it, right? Because if this is actually like ridiculously overpowered and something that you can't really play around as much as you would hope to, then this could really, really turn people off from the game. Imagine every match you fight has a WHIS in it, and every single match you're getting hit by this effect, and you end up losing your matches, like a lot of matches, because of this. Like, people are going to get very fed up with this very quickly. So I do think they probably had to test this pretty extensively to make sure that it wasn't super oppressive. Definitely sounds very, very strong, because you don't even want to use the cards that have been turned face down, right? Because if you don't know what it is, you might drop the combo, you might overextend something, you might, you know, something might not go right for you. And something else to mention as well is this actually buffs the effects of where you can destroy your own cards, right? Characters like God of Destruction Topo that destroy all of his cards in his main ability. Like, that's actually a really good effect to play around something like this, where you don't have to worry about clicking a wrong card because you can just destroy your hand and not to worry about it anymore. The other thing that I have a question about is how does this work with Dragon Balls, right? If there's Dragon Balls on the card, are you still going to be able to get those Dragon Balls on the card turned face down? I assume you probably are, but I'm not really sure how that's going to work. So we'll see how that turns out. Let's go ahead and watch the preview here. Should be able to have the volume fine.
Try to imagine yourself capable of more than you are now. Let's give you a little test. Come now, we're becoming cooler. I'm willing to keep this going a bit longer.
You like that?
You presented an opening. Is something the matter? Are you pushing yourself hard enough?
All right, so let's go ahead and take a look here just very quickly. I think his green card did have blast armor. Yeah, you can see it. It does have blast armor. Actually, that wasn't it. It was over here. Yeah, right there. The blue outline over there. So if this guy, I mean, I'm not really sure what this guy's kit's going to look like. We'll take a look when the data download happens. But this guy, if you have a stop time, or let's say, for example, you draw the green card through his main ability, right? Maybe he picks up a green card or something like that. Or maybe he holds a green card. Remember, the EX WHIS holds a green card. So maybe this guy's extra green cards in his deck or something like that. But if you have a stop time in mid-range, you can actually land this green card, which has the obscure effect onto the enemy. So that is a pretty big deal, right? And it's hard to tell about the blue card because he's so close when he uses it. He's in like close range. I don't think we're able to see. Yeah, it's impossible. He's in close range, so we actually can't see if he lands it or not, or if it has blue, if it has blast armor. So that's it's pretty much it in terms of this. I mean, they're both dashing forward things, the green card and the blue card. Green card has blast armor, blue card, I imagine because the green card has it, blue card probably has it as well. So the sparking WHIS we have, or the only WHIS we have in the game right now is this EX WHIS, and he is on one team, Godkey. And the thing about Godkey is Godkey has been getting a lot of buffs recently. Recently, I wouldn't say we just got this Goku and Vegeta because it's been like almost 4 months since we got them, or 5 months at this point, honestly. So they're fairly new. They're honestly one of the best units in the game. Zamasu and Goku Black have released at the same time as them. Then we got the Zenkai for the green Vegeta, who's right over here. Then we got Ultra Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken Goku. Then we got the Zenkai for red Rose Goku Black. Then we got the free-to-play units, the Goku and the Vegeta. So this team has a lot going for it recently. They've been deciding to buff the hell out of this tag, which I don't have an issue with because Godkey's a fun tag. It's cool. We also got the Beerus. Don't forget about Beerus as well, releasing alongside the Jiren. So when I take a look at the roster here, there's not really one specific color that jumps out at me and it's like, oh yeah, this team really needs a buff in this color, because they got yellow covered. They got green covered pretty well. This Vegeta's good. Zamasu and Goku Black is good. Honestly, Vados is still usable on Godkey. She's still a good support character. Beerus is blue. This new Vegeta is blue, even though he's free to play. This Zenkai Goku is still pretty good. He's solid, not like crazy good. Honestly, Vegeta Blue is still pretty solid, honestly. Like, yellow, we already talked about. Red, this Zamasu has seen a massive glow up recently because of all the yellow characters. This Goku's pretty solid. We just got this Rose Goku Black Zenkai, so I don't know. I don't really think there's like one specific color that really needs the buff. I personally would probably say blue or red, but it really does not matter. So that is going to wrap this one up. Let me know down below what you guys think. Look at this Goku. Let me know what you guys think of WHIS here. What do you think about what he's able to do so far from what they've said on Twitter, and his new mechanic, the obscure mechanic? Are you a fan of that, or are you not a fan of that? I am definitely interested in hearing what you guys have to say about that, but let's see who they release next. So hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I'll see you all in the next one.